What's up, everyone, and welcome to the 25th episode of the Vision Game Podcast. I'm your host, Brad's Gaming. As always, I'm joined by Clonish Joe
Hello, everyone.
and Triple Bravo.
Howdy, folks.
And question of the week is going to be, what is your favorite Pokemon of all time? And this kind of came up because the new Pokemon games came out, Brilliant Diamond and something Pearl.
Shining Pearl.
Shining Pearl. Okay. And I actually picked up Brilliant Diamond for myself. Didn't play much of it, but I'm kind of excited. The game got a little bit of hate, I think, for it being not making too many quality of life changes or something. Um, and I think it's because if you have the old game, they want you to, it's like there's no reason really to buy the new one. But for me, it's like having it on Switch. Plus, I never have owned either one of these games from this generation, so it was worth a pickup for me. And I'm actually excited to mess around with it. A game I could sit on the couch and kind of kick my feet up and enjoy.
Yeah, it's a game that I maybe pick up after Christmas.
Yeah, for sure. Like I said, it's a mindless, fun game. It's not something that's crazy in depth or anything.
It's Pokemon.
Exactly.
You
It's
get
baby RPG. That's what I always call it. But to go along with the question, what are your guys' favorite Pokemon of all time? Bravo?
My favorite Pokemon is Primeape. Little fighting ball of fury.
Yes.
Need I say more?
I like him. I really like Mankey as well.
Mm-hmm.
Though both of them, they're awesome.
Yep.
How about you, Joe?
Diglett. I'm just kidding. I'm a basic guy, and I like Charizard.
Oh yeah, go with the fanboys. I used to like Charizard, and not that I don't like him anymore, but
you grew up.
I actually, yeah, I feel like it. I feel like the thing that made Charizard so cool back in the day was it was like the hardest and rarest card to get.
Yeah.
So then when I had it, I'm like, oh my god, it's so amazing. Then I'm like, I don't. It's not even one of my favorite. I like Blastoise better than Charizard. So
I from the original games, I always started with Charmander, and I never was good or dedicated enough to get to Charizard, but I loved him in the show and the movies, especially like the Pokemon movie with Mewtwo where he got his head stuck in the log. I cried like a baby.
Attaboy.
A fun fact about the Envision crew: we all three start with different starter Pokemon, which is pretty cool. When we found that out, I can't remember why we were talking about that.
I don't remember.
A little while ago, but yeah.
Yeah, there was something we were talking about, and it came up. I almost exclusively start with the water Pokemon.
Mm-hmm.
I don't. It just, for some reason, they always kind of are the ones I steer towards more. But in Diamond here, I ended up choosing I think his name's Turtwig, the turtle. He's actually really cute. So I was like, hey, he's pretty cool. I like it. He's a grass guy.
Yeah.
But and then for me, my favorite Pokemon is actually Machamp. And it's exclusively because of the card. That
Fighter
holographic
types.
Yeah, the fighting is probably fighting and then psychic. Those are my two favorite by far.
If I wasn't gonna pick Charizard and be basic, my favorite Pokemon would easily be Alakazam.
Oh, that's a good one. Such an interesting character,
I have two really weird ones that I don't think many people like. And I don't know why. I have little figures of them, and it's Tangela. Tangela, he's really weird. I think it's the shoes. He's got the red shoes,
He's just blue spaghetti.
Yeah, blue spaghetti with red Nikes. I think that's what it is. And then Farfetch, just because he's got a unibrow. I don't know what else it is.
Because he got a unibrow, and Brad got a unibrow.
Yeah, we're like brothers.
Oh my gosh.
Anyways. All right, so the main topic of the show is actually going to be going over the Joystick Awards. So this came out, and just felt like perfect timing to go over this, kind of go along with the hype of the awards and getting towards the end of the year.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be nice to talk about the games that have came out this year and what we think of the choices that are made, because there's some that we definitely have
Strong
questions on.
opinions on.
Yeah, there's some weird stuff going on here. But
Yeah.
anyways, we'll get to it as we move along. So first one is going to be best storytelling for a game. Choices are the nominees would be Life is Strange: True Colors, Psychonauts 2, Wildermyth, 12 Minutes, Chicory: A Colorful Tale. I think I said that right. And Tales of Arise. So, I don't know. Do we want to just say which one won?
Yeah,
and
let's
go
just
into
let's
it,
just
or-
cut right into which
Yeah.
one won.
So the winner of those was Life is Strange: True Colors. I really only know a little bit about a tiny bit about Psychonauts. I know what Life is Strange is. Pretty much, like the Walking Dead Telltale style games. Did a little bit of research on the Wildermyth game. Looks cool. Don't know much about the story wise. 12 minutes. Essentially watched Joe play through all of that. So I got the whole feel of that game. And the Tales games, I hear a lot of hype about them. I've played the old Tales of Symphonia back in the day, but I've heard decent things about Tales of Arise as well. I don't know how good Life is Strange is. It's never done much for me.
Yeah.
Out of these choices, like, even though I know the most about 12 minutes, it was kind of an interesting story, but weird. I probably would have given it to Psychonauts just because I think it's a little more unique, being like a comedy.
Mm-hmm.
I always liked, like, the original Psychonauts was really cool and actually pretty funny. So
I tried to research Life is Strange: True Colors, and to be honest, the trailer for it just kind of I almost dozed off because it's just not my cup of tea. It seems like too much of a real life story type game, and I purposely steer clear of those kinds of games, books, TV shows. Like, if it doesn't have something special, unique, magical, sci-fi, punky, like, I just don't care. I don't want to watch real life stories happen in any of my fantasies. Like, it's just not what I want to spend my time with.
you don't want to watch a TV show or an IT guy answer the phone. IT, this is Brad.
No.
Have you tried turning it off, turn it on again?
No, the closest I get are crime shows, but those are a little unrealistic. So it still counts. Go, Joe.
Through the nominees, I've played both 12 Minutes and Wildermyth. 12 Minutes was... It took me longer than 12 minutes to play, but we did like a group playthrough of it together, solving the puzzles, and had a good time as a group, but the game's just tedious, and the story wasn't that good to me. It was pretty basic, cut and dry. Wildermyth, God, that game it really, really interested me, with it being basically D&D. The downside to it is I don't want to read the dictionary every time I'm going between little fights that last 20 seconds. But
I'm essentially illiterate as well, so really rough for me.
Staying on the basis of best storytelling and not putting my personal game preference into this, Life is Strange: True Colors, hands down, would be the best storytelling game of the nominees. Whether I like to play the game or not, which I don't, I played the older Life is Strange and didn't enjoy it, but they do have a really good way of telling their story, and they are like interesting stories for what they are. It's just it doesn't have the gameplay to keep me attached that I look for in a type of game.
Yeah.
But best storytelling, I feel it wins.
One game, yeah, and that's just from the nominees. One game I think should have made this list is It Takes Two. I think the story was great, and the gameplay is equally great. I mean, we could talk about that for quite a while. Joe and I played through it together, just completed it not too long ago, actually, and it's a pretty good story. It's a pretty, let's say, the core of the story is pretty basic, like two well, I don't want to ruin it for anybody, but it's not like a revolutionary story. It's how the story's told, which is what's really cool.
Mm.
And just to give my thoughts, 12 minutes, the mechanics of the game are what are unique to that. The story, basic, just like Joe said. And I don't have any other input on the other games.
Well, I remember we got annoyed afterwards because it just got really tedious doing the same thing over and over again.
Yeah.
And then we ended up looking up part of it. I don't know if you were there, Bravo, or not at the end. And then Joe and I watched the ending, and it was like this weird incestual thing at the end of it, if I'm remembering correctly.
No, yeah, I believe that's right, but it's been a few months at this point now.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah. It was strange. I don't know.
I went to
really
bed
excited for it since E3, and like it came to Game Pass, and we were like, "Oh, we need to play it," and we all just sat down and played together.
Mm-hmm. So, anyways, so we can move on to the best multiplayer game now. So best multiplayer we have Deathloop, It Takes Two, Chivalry 2, Back for Blood, Valheim, Naraka Blade Point, and the actual winner ended up being It Takes Two.
Oh,
so I think that's a pretty fair. I actually think it's a pretty good list as well. Actually, this one I think most of the games. The only one I don't know much about is the Naraka game. Did a little research. I mean, it looks interesting, but I mean, yeah, you've heard tons about Valheim. Back for Blood, obviously, we played that and reviewed that as well. Deathloop, Joe played a good amount. Obviously, he played it day one, and it was a little buggy, but it could have been fixed by now. Chivalry, I know the original game was pretty huge as well, and I imagine just Chivalry 2 is just more additions and everything being it. And It Takes Two, you guys absolutely loved. So I think it's pretty much a fair win for that.
It Takes Two was a great game. My only when it says best multiplayer game to me, I think of a game that takes more than just 2-player co-op. But like overall, It Takes Two definitely would be the one that wins for me. But out of these, like if I'm thinking multiplayer, I'm thinking like 4+ online multiplayer, and I'm thinking more along the lines of like something like Chivalry or Valheim. But out of the nominees, It Takes Two is definitely what I'd give my winning nod to, just because that game was phenomenal for what it is, and the criteria they're going with fits perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, one thing, doing my research for this episode, I was like, oh, Naraka, like, I'm sure that game came out, had a huge peak, and just died off, but no. Like, it's got like 150,000 people, concurrent players every single day. It's pretty crazy.
Jeez.
And we just don't know anybody who plays it, so I was like, oh, that game's dead.
Is this the Battle Royale one?
Yes.
Okay, I remember what I did. Yeah. Okay.
Another game I thought was strangely not on this list would be Outriders. Maybe because it kind of fell off so quick, they didn't have as much content or something. The way people submit these games may be a little bit of an input, but just a thought from my own personal perspective.
Yeah, I think Outriders didn't get added because multiplayer was legitimately broken at the release, where the point of the group we had to play it with, we all played through solo because we couldn't play together.
Sounds like 2021 in a nutshell. Game's broken.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to pick up Outriders. It looks pretty good. Debating on whether I should pick it up or not, though.
If you can pick it up on a sale, the story itself is actually pretty good. Like, just playing through the story, it's not bad. The real harsh reality of that game is for me, the end game content
non-existent.
Was just like they didn't think about the end game loop. And you got to think about the studio and what their plans for the game were. They nailed it. They wanted to release a game that was front to back, you play with your friends, and then they're going to release another game. And I think they've kind of backpedaled a little bit, and they're like, okay, we're going to release some more content for this game. But it's not going to be anytime soon, and I fear that their fan base is going to peter off because, new shiny things are out. Why would they go back to that?
Outriders did have an edition. I don't know what it was included or like anything about it, but I do remember them saying like right off the bat, they're like, there will be no DLC, free or paid, for this game, and basically said don't ask for it. But now there's like, I know that they have it on sale on Steam, and it's some expansion or DLC or something is like splattered everywhere trying to push it.
Yeah.
Please,
I mean,
sir,
it's already
may I have
down
some
to.
more?
It looks like it's already down to $20. So
Yeah, I mean, it came out early April, so it's been out for quite a while.
Yeah. I'm thinking about, like I said, $20 might be worth a pickup. Now on what system? I don't know. We'll see. I'm kind of liking the idea of it because it's got some RPG aspects of like skill trees and whatnot as well, from my memory correctly.
Yep.
So classes and stuff, and because it's a shooter, sometimes I feel like I'd rather like kind of kick my feet up and play on a controller, but same time
it does have crossplay, so
well, that makes it a little bit easier to decide on.
Crossplay works. It's not at the beginning.
All right, so I think that one was a pretty good choice. I mean, Takes Two, I would say.
Yeah, I think we unanimously agree here.
Yeah. I like Back 4 Blood a lot too. Obviously, I think that's a little bit of a, just being me, liking Left 4 Dead so much. Back 4 Blood was really fun when we played it. But anyways, we'll move on to Best Visual Design, which we have Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart, Psychonauts 2, The Artful Escape, Little Nightmares 2, Hitman 3, and Genesis Noir. The winner ended up being Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart, which I think is an absolute, bomb of a game for visual design. The game just looks like a Pixar movie. It's insane how well it looks. I have absolutely no gripes with it winning.
You played it
How about
yet?
you guys? I have not. I have to still beat the first one, which I own it. I don't own Rift Apart yet. I'm waiting to like get around to playing.
I've never played a Ratchet and Clank game prior to Rift Apart. It was my first intro to the series. From all the things I've read about it after playing through it, it's, regarded as one of the best. Visually, the game is absolutely gorgeous. But I blew through this game way faster than I wanted to because I was enjoying it so much. But they definitely took everything the PS5 had to offer and threw it at this game. Obviously, I'm sure in 5 years, towards the end of the PlayStation 5's lifespan, whatever, there'll be better. But for right now, this is definitely like one of my top 3 visually appealing games, up there with Demon's Souls, the remake, as well as Kena Bridge of Spirits, which surprisingly was not nominated because playing that game on the PS5 was absurd. Ratchet & Clank, beautiful game, but Kena was the definition of a Pixar movie in game form. And that's where my vote easily would have went for best visual design. And a development team being their first game absolutely knocked it out of the park.
I agree with everything Joe said, and I would again add It Takes Two to this list because the visual design in that game, I might be a big fanboy, but you literally don't know what to expect on the next level. And it's like each individual section or chapter of the game is its own micro game with completely new environments. I'm talking space. There are squirrels that talk in there that go to war, like World War II. Like there's so many crazy weird things. Like it's like a trip on some kind of psychedelic or something. I don't know.
It Takes Two is probably, obviously between the 3 that we're talking about right here, it's the one that's a little bit more unique.
Yeah, I don't think it would have won, but I think it should have been nominated.
Yeah, I agree. Because the two that we're talking about, they both look like Pixar movies. I mean, there's no doubt
Mm-hmm.
about that. But It Takes Two, it's interesting. It kind of has like a claymation vibe a little bit,
Yep.
just from what I'm looking at. But I don't know. I don't know how else to describe it, but it gives me that kind of vibe. It's pretty cool. Um, yeah, I mean, kind of surprised that yes, Hitman 3's good looking, but I feel like they were just like, oh, let's just throw something out there.
What surprises me the most is that everything but Hitman 3 is. I'm actually not familiar with the Artful Escape, so maybe not, but they're all like an animated style. Like the Genesis Noir is like the black and white drawing looking game. Little Nightmares is obviously animated style. Psychonauts 2 is its own weird like drawn animation.
Yep.
And then Ratchet and Clank and our addition of Kana and It Takes Two are both animated. So
the Artful Escape, it just looks like it's definitely animated style, like maybe a little psychedelic or something based on the few pictures I'm looking at, but it looks cool. But I would say it's definitely a toss up. Yeah.
That something like Call of Duty didn't make it into this.
Mm-hmm. Especially after your review of the visuals of the campaign.
Mm-hmm. I think it's and this could just be me, but I don't think people think of visual design and stuff when it comes to like realistic. Like they're always like, oh, it's colorful and animated and
Yeah, I get it.
Pixar
and
stuff.
Ratchet and Clank definitely is. I mean, for what you would expect, it looks as real as you would expect.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah,
that's an interesting thought, Brad. That's I feel like you just said something that is a hint at the future of like visual games and how they impact people. The closer we get to realism, like realistically depicting, a World War II setting or something, you get so real with ray tracing and all this stuff that people stop like caring. They stop giving them awards or praises for being so good looking because they're so good looking. You're like, oh, what? It's just it's just it's just guns and shrubbery and all this other stuff. Why would I give that a good? Yeah, exactly. It's like, well,
some squirrels wearing general helmets.
That's actually all rendered. There's not a single real thing in that picture, and it is a work of art. Welcome.
Yeah, I'm almost curious. I'd have to do some research, but I think I've mentioned on the podcast before where like like NFL 2K2 back in the day with its super boxy polygons being like, oh my gosh, it's real life, baby.
So
and I don't know if like those games won or not,
Funny story in regards to that. It was NHL 2K3. We were playing it in my living room, and my mom came in and she goes, "Oh, are the Penguins playing tonight?" And we were like, I don't know why. She goes, "Well, aren't you watching the game?" And we just, like, no, it's a video game. Oh, it looks so real.
It's wild. Like I remember same thing. My mom coming in and seeing some stuff. Oh my gosh, the graphics are so real. Now you go back and it's like just like I could make it just so I default like Blender. It's like, oh, I made a cube. Here it is.
I will never forget trying to go back and play Glover on my N64, and I physically could not see with the naked eye where the character ended and the environment began. I didn't know what I was looking at because it was like a dark room because it's like a dark like wizardy type game, and I was like, I can't play this game anymore. I don't know what I'm looking at. My eyes are lazy. They've been
game that should have won back in the day is More the Chicken. That design is masterful.
Similar thought on visuals. That's probably the most unrealistic part of the Matrix because they don't have any like weird stuff that they generate and put into the Matrix. Like oh, I need a car. It's like, why not? Oh, I need a dragon. Just put a dragon into the Matrix for me, please.
Yeah.
That was a big tangent. I'm so sorry. You're welcome.
All right, so we can move on to the best indie game. So we've got Death's Door, Chicory, A Colorful Tale, Old World, Wildermyth, Bonfire Peaks, and Sable. So winner was Death's Door, which I've heard tons of good things about this game, and it looks amazing. Haven't gotten around to play it myself, but it definitely looks like it would scratch that itch that I would enjoy. Uh, what are you guys thinking here from what we have listed?
See, this is why I like this podcast, because I have a second or third chance to not miss some of these good games, because I did not know Death's Door existed until we started researching for this episode, and I purchased this game because it looks so good, and it's currently on sale for the winter sale or whatever autumn sale they have going on right now. It looks really cool, like clean graphics, a roguelike or what was
Roguelite or like
yeah,
whatever
Dark Souls like, whatever it is. Like I'm really excited to play that game, and I'll throw my review out there whenever I am done. These other games, we've already talked about Wildermyth. I don't know much about these other ones. We're probably not the right group to go for indie games, generally speaking.
We have our community members for that one.
Yes.
But I do know a little bit about some of these. I know Chicory, A Colorful Tale is about like an anthropomorphic dog that has a paintbrush full of colors, and he's like walking around in a coloring book. I don't know the basis of the story or anything else. I just know that. Old World is a 4X game, apparently. I learned that while researching, and it absolutely piqued my interest. That's a game I'll be looking more into after. Bonfire Peaks is a weird, like, cube-generated game. It's a puzzle game, and it's like dealing with loss. So you're like carrying a box and have to get it through, and I don't know exactly how it goes. Sable is a artistic game that it's like a weird cel shaded art style, and it was from E3. They showed a bit of it. I remember we talked about, and we were all a little confused because we thought it was like an ad or something, and then it turned out to just be like a game. But yeah, it's not for me. Death's Door does look really cool. It's a game I may end up picking up based on how Bravo likes it. But best indie game of the year, hands down for me, is Kena Bridge of Spirits. Being their absolute first game, Ember Labs just did so good with it. I'm a fanboy. Yeah. I was even before the game came out because it looked so good. And I had these two goobers watching it with me because I was just scrolling through to the PlayStation Store and came across it.
Yeah, you can't change my mind that the only reason it didn't make it to this list is because people didn't know that it was an indie game.
It probably is that way.
Yeah, when they think indie game, they're like, ooh, weird box puzzle game that has you do these things, or a tiny little game that's all about one emotion, or cool hipster stuff like that. Not Pixar film number 27 in video game format.
It honestly, I mean, they've made like films before, like small animated films of like Majora's Mask and stuff along those lines, but they've never done a game. And it's like a small team, and God, that game is difficult as is, which is a good thing in my eyes. It's beautiful, and the story is pretty interesting for the game that released at $40.
Yeah.
And the enemy design and world design, bone apple tea.
So, I was gonna just say one thing with Bonfire Peaks. If nobody's heard of it and you're looking, it kind of gives me a little bit of Catherine vibes, which I don't know if you guys have ever played or heard of. It's a super weird, like, Japanese puzzle game, and it's about a guy that is dating a girl named Catherine with a C, and then she's like goody too. She's normal. And then he has another Catherine with a K and I don't know all the story of it. So if I'm getting it a little bit wrong, forgive me. But Catherine with a K is like the promiscuous version of it.
Oh.
And he goes into like dreams, and you're like trying to escape and stuff like that. It's a weird game. But kind of gave me those vibes. Also, one of our nominations, Diablo 2 Resurrected. Indie game. That indie studio, man, they try, even though they fail miserably.
That studio needs to go under.
Yeah, that studio, they're digging their own grave with all the allegations and stuff that have been going on.
Yeah.
And they just keep popping up.
It seems like every week. It's like, oh, Blizzard once again has done something absolutely terrible.
The
Blizzard,
higher ups in that studio took no press as bad press to the heart, and they're like, all right, well, we're gonna start harassing people now.
Mm-hmm.
Easy money.
You get a sexual harassment charge. You get a sexual
Sable, I do remember my thoughts watching it the first time, where I thought it was very strange that you're not supposed to enter combat. Like, you have these different ships that you're supposed to explore with, but you're supposed to run away from like all combat. And I did not like that because my playstyle is against that. So an exploratory, kind of a chill game, I guess. I'm glad it made it somewhere.
Was Biomutant an indie game?
You know, I don't know what that studio has made, but that's
a game.
It was THQ Nordique by Experiment 101. So technically not, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I just remember that being a popular game as well. So just curious.
Okay. All right, I think we can move forward into Studio of the Year. Unless you guys got more to say with indie games.
No, I was just gonna make a bad joke. Continue, please.
Right. So, Studio of the Year nominations are IO Interactive, Arcane, Housemark, Double Fine, Capcom, and Drachnik and Friends. That was the only one I've never heard of. I think they're the ones that made Bonfire Peaks.
Correct.
Yeah. So, winner was Capcom. Honestly, I don't see anything wrong with that, being that Resident Evil Village was pretty solid. I liked it a lot. Housemark, also, I think is pretty solid. Honestly, all of them are pretty good. I think IO Interactive, maybe one of the weaker ones, even though I know Hitman 3 is actually a pretty big game. The Hitman games get a lot of praise. I actually really loved Hitman Absolution when I played it back in the day. But I feel like I got to be in the right mood to really want to play a Hitman game. Where, Arcane with Deathloop, and they've done like the oh gosh, I can't remember the name of it. Dishonored games as well.
Yeah.
Pretty cool. But yeah, I think honestly Capcom deserves it. I think it's a pretty good one.
Yeah, I mean, obviously Brad and I are Resident Evil fanboys, but Hitman, what is that? IO Interactive, we said, was the one that made Hitman. I keep getting them mixed up. Yeah. Hitman has gotten a ton of praise to the point where like I'm actually interested in getting into Hitman 3, and I haven't played a Hitman since Hitman 2 on the original Xbox.
Oh yeah.
So it's been quite a bit, and I'm pretty interested to like see what's evolved over the years. But Capcom Resident Evil Village did some work in these Golden Joystick Awards. We haven't come across any of their nominations yet, but they definitely made a run.
And go ahead.
It definitely is Capcom's year to shine. It was definitely up for grabs for whoever wanted it this year, with even a bit of effort.
Yeah, I am terrible with studios. I'm very much a just give me what I want. I don't care who you are kind of guy. But Arcane Studios made Deathloop, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Capcom. Exactly what you guys said. I don't have any input on these studios. I don't really care.
Yeah. I I have to really give Returnal the shot finally. I've actually been really interested in Returnal since day one, but I just didn't feel like it was a $70 game. And actually, it's probably on sale right now to that point.
It is.
Where
It is.
it's actually at that point where it's like, all right, it's probably worth buying, but that might be something I pick up
on like most Black Friday weekend sales for like $45 right now.
Which isn't bad, That $40 range is kind of what I was thinking would be a good price point. So
yeah, and it shows off the PS5, so it's definitely something.
Yeah, the game's real pretty. It's real pretty. But we can move on to best game expansion. So Ghost of Tsushima, Icky Island. All right, yeah. Resident Evil 7 Remake, episode intermission, The Outer Worlds murder on Irdanos. I don't know. Sims 4 Cottage Living, Super Mario Bowser's Fury, Doom Eternal: The Ancient Gods Part 2. The winner was Ghost of Tsushima, Icky Island, and one thing I was kind of surprised, I didn't realize that they considered Bowser's Fury an expansion, because I understand that part was like the add-on for the game when you bought it.
Yeah, they just made it only available if you bought it for the game.
I don't think you can buy just the expansion though.
I don't think so either. It's just Nintendo being Nintendo.
So that was a little bit weird. I've heard good things about the Resident Evil, Final Fantasy VII Remake, episode intermission. But I've also heard a lot of good things about Outer Worlds.
Outer Worlds is a fantastic game that I'm not even close to beating, but I'm super excited to finally come around to finish. That's like my game when no one's on and nobody sees me and I'm hiding in like a private Discord channel. I'm just grinding that game out as slow as possible because I'm loving it.
Yeah, but I think most of the options here pretty solid. I mean, Sims 4 Cottage Living, I don't know how exciting
First off, don't you dare insult The Sims in front of me.
I'm saying cottage living. What did that add? Just cottages? We guess that's what we got.
Yeah, I think these are like some of these are strange to include as best game expansions. I don't know. Doom Eternal, sure. Bowser's Fury, kind of weird. Cottage Living. I haven't played Sims 4, but it seems like more of the same. So.
And Sims made it. That's back in the day. That's how they made their money. Was they just pumped out those expansions.
That's still how they make their money.
Oh yeah.
Like
there's so many.
Just off the top of my head, what about Gunfire Reborn with their expansion or just being released? Why isn't it on?
Because it's not an expansion. That's a release.
Yeah.
Right.
First release.
They added
this is like
DLC. Like DLC content. Okay, fair enough.
Yeah. So if I'm looking at these, I mean, they're all good. Final Fantasy VII Remake, I obviously haven't played yet, as I've talked multiple times that I haven't played Final Fantasy. I have the Final Fantasy VII Remake on the PS5. I haven't touched it yet because I want to go through all of them in order. Ghost of Tsushima, I haven't played the Icky Island expansion because I was very angry about the director's cut thing that they started doing with video games.
Oh, yeah. Man,
but,
PTSD.
Yeah, I am going to play it because Ghost of Tsushima is, without a doubt, in my top 5 video games, probably of all time. That game is amazing, and I feel like I can't not play more content of it. Bowser's Fury is awesome, but it's also Mario. Correct me if I'm wrong, because I didn't keep up with Doom, because it's not a game that interests me. But did they not release Doom and say, we're not releasing any DLC or anything for this, and then they go ahead and start releasing a bunch of paid DLC?
I don't remember them saying that. And technically, they did the VFR thing as well. I don't remember. You know what? I'm not even going to talk about it because I can't remember the release dates.
Maybe it wasn't DLC, but like something. Did Doom Eternal have multiplayer and like skins or something? I don't remember. But they said something and it just rubbed me wrong because I know they turned it back. I remember reading about it on Reddit. Outer Worlds, haven't got to the DLC. I haven't even finished the normal game. But out of all of these, Ghost of Tsushima Iki Island is hands down Incredible.
This category is like if you were nominated for the best game of the year in the previous year and you released an expansion this year, it's like, oh, look at that. Even more awards.
It makes sense. I mean, yeah, I don't know. It's hard to say because like some of these, it's like you got to get around it. You have to beat the entire game, and then on top of that, like Ghost of Tsushima is not a short game.
No.
And Final Fantasy VII is not a short game. Outer Worlds not a short game.
Outer Worlds actually apparently is a short game.
Well, it depends.
That was one that was like pretty...
it's long your first playthrough, and then it's like 5 minutes. Apparently, after you know what you're doing.
Yeah, you can skip.
Like Resident Evil.
You can skip a pretty large portion of the game, but it requires making the right decision. Well, the specific decision, not really the right decision, because you ignore like whole arcs of the game, and you're like, yeah, I don't really care about this planet. Time to go.
I got scared there'd be spoilers and took my headset off.
Oh.
So, yeah, I think Ghost of Tsushima probably was the fair winner just because it probably was the best game out of all of them. So, going basically off of what Bravo was saying. Game last year, I think Ghost of Tsushima might have been one of the best games of the year, too.
Yeah.
It won some awards and whatnot, I think, right?
I don't understand how it wasn't like the big game of the year last year.
Yeah. Anyways, we'll move on to mobile game of the year. We got Clap Hands Golf, Fantasian, Overboard, Alba, A Wildlife Adventure, Cozy Grove, and League of Legends Wild Rift. The winner was League of Legends Wild Rift. That's
our winner is League of Legends Wild Rift.
yeah. I mean, I think we got to go to Bravo if he knows any of these because
what does that mean?
You're kind of designated
He's
mobile gamer.
All right. First off, I have no idea how Orna did not make it onto this list. Okay, it's
because all three people who play it didn't vote for it.
Anyways, it's just my favorite mobile game. If you haven't listened to the podcast anymore, or for the first time, whatever. The only two games that I know about are Cozy Grove, because our friend of the community, Sushi and Donuts, she really likes that game. It's like Animal Crossing, but mobile, but different because Animal Crossing is already technically mobile. It's just a different Animal Crossing type game. It's cutesy, and the finer details of the game, I gotta be honest, are pretty cool. Like the different characters, you're like, oh, that character actually is like a humanoid of this item or whatever. Like it's cool. Go look it up. If you like cutesy games, go look it up. Give it a shot. Play it while you're on the throne or something. I don't know. League of Legends Wild Rift, obvious winner in my book. It's League of Legends, but
League
simplified and mobile. Like, good job, Studio of the Year nominee for the list. Riot Games.
Well, they're going insane now too.
Yeah, that's honestly surprising that they weren't up on even a nomination. They've been going
I'm a bit surprised by that. But then again, I feel like it's one of those once again favoritism things of a lot of times console stuff seems to get favored, like the favoritism versus PC stuff.
I think it's because there's more access to consoles, like easier access.
Yeah, that's a good point. How do you not nominate a business that has like 60% of the gaming market and that business being Tencent? Like, how does it not make the list?
Like I said,
I'm actually glad it didn't make the list, but how does it not? Yeah. We can move on. I don't feel like we have much to talk about mobile games.
By the way, Clap Hands Golf is literally just Hot Shots Golf. So if you like Hot Shots Golf, maybe that's your thing.
You get bonus points for physically throwing your phone across the room.
I think Raid Shadow Legends.
No. We're gonna get sued.
Why? We're allowed to talk about it.
They're probably gonna send us money. Like, hey, we We skimmed your video. You said our
heard.
name once. Here's $80.
I heard your name. Here's 13 cents.
And that's my 13 cents.
You know, I saw one guy give that game an honest review. He's like, look, they've sponsored me in the past, but I've canceled my sponsorship and will no longer work with them. Here's my actual review. And it was pretty honest. It was pretty bad.
It was pretty. Raid, if you're listening, we'll give you our honest review for
Raid, if
sponsorship.
you pay me, I will give you an honest review of a 10 out of 10. My love can be bought. Oh man, but as we can move on to best audio, which nominees are Returnal, Jet to the Far Shore, Sable, Little Nightmares 2, Resident Evil Village, and The Artful Escape. Winner was Resident Evil Village. I have no problem with that winning myself. But then that could be because fanboy Resident Evil.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know. Returnal, though, I've heard decent things about the audio in that game from what I've played and everything. And even, not what I played, excuse me, what I've watched, is what I would say. But I do think Resident Evil Village's audio is pretty good. What are you feeling?
Yeah, so we're obviously Resident Evil fanboys here. Speaking of Resident Evil, I know I beat your guys' ears in with my complaints about Welcome to Raccoon City, but I just want it to be official on the podcast. That movie is awful. Do not waste your time or money. The audio in the movie would not even be thought of for this list. But
it's awful. 7 out of 10.
No, I gave that movie a solid 2 out of 10, with 1 point being simply because it had Resident Evil characters. Wow. I was sticking to that review. I hated it. I was ready to walk out of the theater, but I wanted to eat my popcorn, and I couldn't do that while driving and having a buttery steering wheel.
I am very tempted to go and
I want you to
see it this weekend
really bad, just so I have somebody to yell at with. But back to the topic at hand. For best audio, Resident Evil Village didn't do anything special with audio, in my opinion. Like, yeah, it was there, but it just was what you'd expect.
I'm glad you said that. Because
if I had to pick out of like this list, it would be Little Nightmares 2, because I think the ambience of Little Nightmares, even the first one, is just so good, and they like keep you on edge through the whole game, and it's like that dark, weird, uneasy feeling, and the audio definitely helps make that atmosphere way more than it does in Resident Evil Village.
Could the audio be also with the like voice actors and stuff like that?
Sure, but I mean, the voice actors were fine, but at the same time, like, you had Heisenberg, Lady Dimitrescu, the daughters, and then like the siblings of. There wasn't that much like voice acting in the game. Ethan, his voice. I mean, yeah.
So is this supposed to be?
Flamers is better.
Because it's the best audio, so it's like
it
all around
all
audio.
of it.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, I'm glad Sable made it to the list, because since it's an exploration game with no fighting, it's supposed to be like a cruising around game. It better have good audio. But one game I'm just the negative guy today apparently. But one game that didn't make it on this list, Doom Eternal. Are you kidding me? It's a music album with a game attached to it, and it also has pretty good like sounds in the game. And I checked, it released in December of 2020 on some platforms, and then in June on the rest of the platforms of this year. I mean, it should have made it to the list.
Doom Eternal released March 20th of 2020, brother. Maybe some DLCs?
Yes.
Yeah. That's why it wasn't even nominated, I'm sure. Because that game. I mean, both of the Dooms, I'm pretty sure, were in this category for their respective years.
No, I'm right. Well, you're right too. But it released on PS4 and Xbox One in December, and it released on PS5 and Xbox Series X on June 2021.
Bam.
We're all right. We're all technically right. Look at that. But that is probably why
I just went by the original.
Probably just didn't make it on the list because of that reason, but still.
Oh, I do have one more thing to add for the Resident Evil Village thing. The save room music always is a treat. So,
was there save room music in Village? I don't even remember.
Yes, there was.
Was it?
And it was pretty good. It was actually really good. I liked it a lot.
Was it like RE2 or RE4 good, or like
it was?
just good?
It gave me, if I'm remembering correctly, it gave me vibes of the RE4 save room. Because obviously they took a lot from RE4.
Oh yeah. They did have the save rooms. I remember.
Yep, yeah, and it was good. And plus, my boy Moreau, he's my boy Moreau, man.
Yeah, I don't know. I just think Little Nightmares. It's maybe it's just because I feel like the audio is much more a part of the game. Why I lean towards it, but Resident Evil Village, I mean, great game all around.
Yeah,
so
it probably is kind of a similar thing where it's like Call of Duty, right? Super great graphics and everything. It's got all the stuff going on, so then you're taken away from the audio.
Yeah,
Resident Evil Village has more going on than Little Nightmares does, so the audio for Little Nightmares comes forward a little bit more. So
on that topic, I would say that Call of Duty shouldn't make the list because it's like more of the same. Because you're not really doing anything revolutionary between games. It's all gunfire, shouting, and you'd have to have like a really good soundtrack to kind of like up the ante from the previous game.
Yeah, I'm not saying that like something like that should win. This I'm just saying like in general, a game that has the higher graphical quality, something that's a little bit higher budget, more stuff's going on the screen, I feel like would take away from the audio because you're maybe more focused on what's going on, looking around. Like in Resident Evil Village, you're definitely more honed in, I feel.
Yeah.
I like, oh crap, I'm getting chased by this, where it's just a relatively like a 2D plane you're running back and forth on for Little Nightmares.
Little Nightmares?
2.5D.
Little Nightmares. I'm playing through the first one. I've only played a little bit of the second one just to get a feel for it. But I'm just going to say, it might be the modern 2D game that gets my interest.
Ooh.
Just because I love that like weird, dark...
What are you playing on? Steam?
Yep.
Okay, so I have it on PlayStation. And I don't know if it was my TV at the time or the PS4 or what, but that game was so dark.
I mean, the game is dark, but
it was almost hard to make out anything though. Like I couldn't see where I was supposed to go.
Yeah,
so I think it was something like Deathloop dark for you.
Yeah, that dark. That's no, I'm not having that issue. It's definitely dark, like it's meant to be dark, and it's dark in like the other sense that it's like a pretty messed up story. I guess they got going.
That's pretty cool, but I think we can move on to best performer, which we have nominees of Jason Kelly, Colt Vaughn from Deathloop, Erica Mori for Alex Chen from Life is Strange: True Colors, Maggie Robinson, Lady Dimitrescu from Resident Evil Village, Ozioma Akaga, Julia Blake from Deathloop, and the Jennifer Hale Rivet from Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart, and Elijah Wood, Gristo Nick the Post guy, Psychonauts 2. Winner was Maggie Robinson, Lady Dimitrescu from Resident Evil Village.
Elijah Wood, isn't that Frodo?
I think so. Elijah Wood, he's definitely an actual actor. He's something.
Well, we got little hobbits here. In the
well, I'm not going to argue with the winner. The voice and character are quite substantial individuals.
Big mommy.
Yes.
think Maggie Robertson did a great job with Lady Dimitrescu, but just from like the bit I played of Deathloop, I'm honestly surprised one of those two didn't win. Either Jason Kelly.
I really like Colt from what I
Yeah,
watched you play. Like he was
they're
really good.
yeah, they sound like professional voice actors.
I would
And
have probably given it to him, just from what I've watched. Well, not like it.
yeah, they
It was very
got
captivating,
into
and
it.
yeah, I was like I said, Deathloop. I really hope they ironed out the issues that it had.
Yeah, definitely one I have to throw back in and see if I could actually see it yet.
Yeah, I really liked Colt Vaughn, played by Jason Kelly. He was he's a really cool character.
He definitely put emotion into it that like you don't see in games too often, especially for that type of weirdly action oriented game. But
Yeah,
Maggie Robertson obviously did great with Lady Dimitrescu, and I mean it's
oh yeah,
definitely the most iconic character in video games this year.
oh yeah. Oh well, I kind of wish they had a category of like best memes from video games this year, because like that "Step on Me, Mommy" with Bird has to be the best thing I've seen in a while.
Best sexual icon of 2021.
Yes. Oh man.
The daughters are better.
Yes, they are.
3 for the price. Okay, we're moving on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Put it this way.
Before Bravo starts talking about his games, we need to keep moving.
Well, I got one more thing to say about the meme stuff of Lady Dimitrescu. Even my wife thinks they're funny because she's seen some of them and she would laugh about them. There's a video of a guy Chris Raygun made one, and he like edited in like a cardboard cutout of her that like broke into his apartment, and he goes, "Oh God, oh no, please, no, no!" And he runs around and he locks the door, so he locks her inside. I thought that was hilarious. Great one, but we'll move on. Best game community. Thought this was kind of a strange one. We'll dive into this for sure. But we got Final Fantasy 14, No Man's Sky, Dreams, Monster Hunter Rise, Destiny 2, and Magic: The Gathering Arena. The winner was Final Fantasy 14, and I know Bravo's got some things to say about this for sure.
Let him loose.
All right, here we go.
Yeah, this category is probably my least favorite out of all of it. So, Final Fantasy 14, how are you going to have the best game community? Apparently, I need to read the rules because you can't have a community that, the game shuts down for 9 months to fix itself, comes back out, and then, like, slowly over time, attracts more attention, more people, and ends in a crescendo 2021 where so many people are playing it. I think partially because of the state of World of Warcraft, but MMOs in general, but it's just very strange. Not because the game is bad or like I'm not saying anything negative about the game, but there is a distinct dead zone in the game's life from 2010 when you have other games like Minecraft, which didn't make this list, that has an obviously large community that hasn't gone anywhere but up. Whether the community is like I don't know, all together or not, I don't know. It's very strange. Magic: The Gathering Arena. What are you talking about, dude? It's not. It can't be that big. There's no way.
I don't.
Yeah, well, it is.
The weird thing with Magic: The Gathering Arena, I think, is because I played a little bit of it. I don't even think there's a way you could talk other than it's kind of like Hearthstone, where you just right click and you pick like a little pre-made quote, essentially, and it's like okay.
I wonder if these like came down to like Reddit activity or what, because like Destiny 2, the people who play that game, they hate the game. And that it's just like constant money grab. They're vaulting content that you paid for that now you're not able to play it. Like that doesn't make sense that they made it. Maybe it's just like people who play these games going on and voting for themselves.
Yeah.
Monster Hunter Rise is a Switch game, which Switch doesn't have good online. So
in order to have communication on the Switch, you need to download the phone app.
Yeah,
and then talk to them through that.
So it has to be something to do with like volume or community, as in like outside the game community, because Monster Hunter Rise is a 4-player online game. Like at most you can have 4 people.
It surprises me that these aren't just MMOs. Like I don't think MOBAs have any right to even think about this category with how toxic they are.
I think it'd be funny to nominate one though.
Just get League up there. But like Final Fantasy 14, the community doesn't have anything to do with it being shut down for 9 months, so I don't have any gripe on that. And the game has blown up massively. Like I didn't even know this game was an online game. I thought it was just a normal Final Fantasy, and then all of a sudden, everybody is playing it. I'm just like, what? What happened?
Yeah, I know my cousin even is he's pretty deep into the game as well. But like the game, so I know Bravo mentioned it once, but like Minecraft, honestly, it really does have a really good community. Like I don't know. There's a lot to it, right?
So I disagree. I don't remember the guy's name. He's a huge YouTuber. He has like the green skin that doesn't show his face or anything.
Dream,
Dream.
Okay.
He did a speed run or something and cheated, and like knowingly cheated and lied whenever like the other speedrunners caught onto it. And the Minecraft community was like basically at each other's throats for like a solid 6 months to a year. That community is constantly looking to fight with one another.
That's the only instance that I know that they like go after each other. Obviously, I'm not like a part of that as much, but I will. Now that I've let the heat out, I will say that the story, of like a game kind of like going through the ringer and having to shut down and fix itself, and now it's a really popular game. Loved by a whole bunch of people, which is also a similar story for No Man's Sky, similar but different. Those are pretty good games to be nominated for Best Game Community. And
yeah,
I don't know if I just don't know if I don't like this category. But
I would like to see the actual rules to it, because it doesn't make much sense to me. The one that I think actually would be one of my favorite because of being community driven would be Dreams, because you make the games and then you play the community content, you create your own content, you're sharing it with people. It's all community based, and I understand that a game like Destiny, whatever, is essentially community based. You can only really play it online, right? Like you can't play it actually single player, right? So something like that, like I understand, but it's just really like I think, like I said, Magic the Gathering, it's just strange. Like I understand it's a card game and but it's not like the physical card game where you have a community that you're going to see and everything. You just sit down. It's like Hearthstone. Like Hearthstone has almost no community,
Well, what about Animal Crossing? That's a pretty good community.
Yeah,
and it's all cutesy game. I don't know if they fight over stuff. Maybe they do.
And it doesn't make much sense because it's like none of these games are, I think, brand new this year.
All right,
so, I don't know how.
I'm convinced the people that voted for this category went to Reddit, went to the subreddit for each individual game. I was like, who has the most? Who's got the most subscribers?
It has to be something.
Winner.
It has to be out. It has to be something with outside interaction than just in game. But
yeah,
we're rambling about this. Let's move on to PC Game of the Year. So we have for nominations Wildermyth, Chivalry 2, Old World, Hitman 3, Pathfinder, and The Forgotten City. And the winner was actually Hitman 3. So Old World is... Am I mistaken? Is this that Amazon MMO game?
No,
that's New World.
I was close, right? You can't be mad.
Old World is a 4X indie game that I just learned about today.
All right. I don't know what was going on in my head.
I'll let you know what I think in a few days.
All right, yeah. Let me know tomorrow. I mean, like we've said, Hitman 3 is getting a lot of that praise, so I'm not too surprised with the win there. Maybe a little surprised that it's won it on PC. Like, I feel like there's got to be something better that's like maybe PC exclusive or something, right?
Yeah, I think
don't
it's
know.
fair we just talk about it now before we get to the next categories, because the following categories are of the various different platforms, PlayStation, Nintendo, Xbox, and
Yep.
PC, but they have cross pollination because the games that are on the other consoles are just non-exclusive games. It's just a list of games for each one.
Yeah,
Yeah. The
it's
only
weirdly
one is
selected.
Nintendo. The only one that has the exclusive, which is because it
Isn't
is Nintendo.
Xbox exclusive? I mean, it's on PC as well, but it's an
Yeah.
Xbox exclusive.
Yeah, like for example, really quickly, we're not going to go into it, but like Xbox Game of the Year, 12 minutes, right? Like you played it on Steam. So,
Yeah.
I don't know if
Well,
that's
I
ever
did play through
coming to
Game
someone
Pass
else.
actually.
Yeah. So, I know that's on Steam. I actually it says 12 minutes is on PlayStation and Nintendo Switch.
Yeah.
So,
So
I don't know. Anyways, nonetheless, honestly, out of these games, like I don't know which one I would kind of give it to. I mean, Hitman is a good choice. Not saying anything wrong with it. I'm trying to think about Pathfinder. I've heard Pathfinder. I think that's is this a game that's based off of board game or is this something else? I'm also confused with.
Pathfinder is based off of D&D and
Okay.
branched off on its own, so this is based off of that branch. Pathfinder is it's a great tabletop game, and it's honestly up there with Divinity: Original Sins. Like, it is a really good game. I watched my friend play through most of it over his shoulder, and then watched a Twitch streamer play it a little bit just to get the specific streamer's opinion on stuff. But it's a decent game. I don't know if it's for everyone, so it's nice that it was made it to the list. But yeah, I don't know.
all four of these agitate me to no end because they're not just exclusives. Like
Yeah.
there should be Game of the Year, and then there should be each individual for exclusives, and then like the one overarching that could be non-exclusive. But PC Game of the Year, Hitman 3, we've said before, it's a great game for what it is. Pathfinder, The Forgotten City, Old World, Chivalry 2, Wildermyth. I mean, Chivalry 2 is massive whenever that came out. I know people who like played the first one that took like a week off work to play this game, and I'd never touched either of them, but I've watched them. And hey, if they're having fun with it, pretending to be a knight, I'm all for it. But there's games like Humankind and like Age of Empires, like these core PC games you could think of that aren't available anywhere else that should be in here that just like aren't.
That's what I was
It,
thinking as well.
it just doesn't
'Cause
make
Yeah.
sense.
You know what they did? They listened to our episode of the Gaming Island Challenge, and they're like, okay, how do we fit like multiple games that we like in the
I was
same?
gonna say that. Yeah. So we can. Do you guys got anything else to say about this? Because I kind of want to jump
No.
into it to get to my next the
I
place to
say
go. Is
I say we
PC.
kind of group the rest of these like all together and just talk about them all at once, because it's kind of its
All
own
right.
topic.
So this is what I was gonna say. So PlayStation Game of the Year, we have nominees of Returnal, Deathloop, Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, Resident Evil Village, Death Stranding, Director's Cut, and Kenna Bridge of Spirits. The winner was Resident Evil Village. So here's the thing: if they chose Resident Evil Village for here,
Why
why
wasn't
isn't
it the
it on?
PC
Yeah, exactly.
or
Like,
Xbox
yeah, like
or
why?
because they had a rule where they're like, one game can't win multiple platforms because we're
yeah,
trying to take
it's
all the games to the island.
this.
Mhm.
So it literally comes back to that point. It's like there's going to be 50 different games that come out with a Game of the Year edition because they wanted it on like some Noob Informer magazine that has 2 subscribers and
They
Mm-hmm.
want
like
to.
South Swahili.
Listen, what we need to do is we need to find the most obscure game possible and give it the Envision Gaming Awards Game of the Year.
My goodness.
And then they could print their own Game of the Year.
We're thinking with hot sauce now. Yeah, there you go.
Yep.
But realistically, like for PlayStation Game of the Year, if it's a PlayStation exclusive, it should either be Returnal or Ratchet and Clank. Ratchet and Clank, in my opinion, is probably the better of the two.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So I go down that way. I give Village to PC because it's across all platforms. It's not PC exclusive, obviously, but PC.
Yeah, PC plays everything pretty much.
The only thing you don't get on it is Nintendo games unless you're emulating.
Yeah, and as of right now, like there is some stuff that, like obviously Returnal and Ratchet are on there. Yeah, but I'm sure Ratchet's gonna be on PC at some point soon.
Guarantee it. It'll probably be about a year or so, but it's gonna come. Sony's definitely starting to pump out PC.
The fact that God of War is coming now, or actually already out, like that's such a big, big franchise for them that it's probably only a matter of time till Uncharted comes there.
It is coming. Uncharted 4 is on its way.
Okay. Surprised they don't have the first few games on, like the collection.
I'm sure if not,
it'll trickle in at some point.
But let's roll into Nintendo because we could argue about it all day.
Well, Nintendo's probably the best one out of the bunch because they are actually exclusive. We got new Pokemon Snap, Neo: The World Ends With You, Monster Hunter Rise, Bravely Default 2, WarioWare Get It Together, and Metroid Dread. Winner was Metroid Dread. I think that was pretty fair, honestly.
The hype around this game itself would have made a Game of the Year.
I played the demo of it too. It is buttery smooth, I have to say. So
what is this Bravely Default 2 game? I don't remember this at all.
RPG. So Bravely Default was a game on 3DS. It's basically your like Final Fantasy style. Think of it that way. Really
JRPG.
long JRPG style game. So, new Pokemon Snap. Actually, I forgot about that game. I should pick that up at some point. I like Pokemon.
That game just is. I see the appeal of like people who just want to chill and take pictures, but like it just blows my mind how popular it is.
I don't know what I think it's just nostalgia. The rose tinted glasses.
Yeah, I never played the original on the 64, so
that's what it was for me. I played the N64 one. I played it like 100% through. I had a strategy guide I would follow through back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, how do
You're
I?
Such a little nerd with your strategy guides.
The new Pokemon Snap, I actually don't like its scoring system for the pictures. You can kind of, I don't know. I would expect like the algorithms to be better because I've taken some real poopy pictures of Pokemon, and it's like 5 stars. Here you go, buddy. Here's 1,000 points. That's the best picture of Pikachu you've ever taken. It's like that's his left ankle. He's behind a tree. Because it's so interesting.
So there's a weird. So the old. I only have knowledge from the old game, right? There's a weird thing where if the Pokemon's doing something unique, like in the so for example, on the beach in the original game, you could send a bunch of apples, and you can make Pikachu follow the apples. You can like lead him towards a surfboard, and then he gets on it and starts doing moves on the surfboard. And it's like, oh my god, it's a surfing Pikachu! It's amazing, right?
Yeah, there's the same things in this one here. You have to do multiple runs because you physically can't like some actions you do take up all your time in that area, so you can't do other actions, or maybe you knock a tree down in one run, which causes you to go a different direction, which means you're not going to get to the other. Like the replayability is there, awesome. But yeah.
Whatever. Anyways, enough of that.
So Metroid Dread, unanimous?
Yeah, I think it's pretty unanimous. Honestly, I don't think much of the other games myself.
I've never played a Metroid game outside of one for the GameCube. Why can't I think of what it's called?
Prime.
I think Diablo 2 Resurrected is probably should have made this list. Just says
It released on the Switch.
I'm just messing.
It did release on the Switch. It's a decent loop, but man, console is terrible. But it's my bias. Yeah, we can move on to Xbox here. Xbox Game of the Year, we have Lost Judgment, The Ascent, Psychonauts 2, Microsoft Flight Simulator, The Artful Escape, and 12 Minutes. The winner was Psychonauts 2. I think same kind of thing. Strange. It's on. I think it's on most things.
I don't think it. I
No,
think it's
actually, it's
only
not on
Xbox and
PlayStation.
PC.
Yeah, actually, I forgot that Double Fine ended up getting purchased by Microsoft. Totally forgot about that.
Yeah.
But it's on Steam. Either way,
No,
I don't
it
know.
says it's on PS4.
Is it really? Wow.
That's what Google says. It could be wrong,
Google.
but
Google's never wrong. Don't question it.
I still think Microsoft Flight Sim should have won this, if not the PC version,
Mm-hmm.
because that game, or if we call it a game, I guess, is phenomenal. I've never played a flight sim before, and then I played that game, and the fact that you could literally fly anywhere in the world, and most of the world is like to scale based off
Here's the
Google
thing: is
Maps.
that game old?
No, it came out this year. Like it's a new flight sim.
Well, yeah, it's. I mean, they've done it before. It's
Yeah,
it's
but
like
this
a
is like the
series,
most
but yeah.
updated, and it uses like Google Maps data and terrain data.
Huh.
So like you could fly. I flew through like downtown Pittsburgh and crashed into one of the buildings.
I flew
I could
around.
like
Yeah,
see out my window.
I flew around Japan. I was like, oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I
Did you land
accidentally.
on your street and you're like, oh, there it is?
Yeah,
They got a
I mean,
picture of Joe in the the house.
got me out back in my speedo at my pool.
I really wish that I knew when the Google car came through, because I would do the dumbest thing you could possibly see. I'd 100% be in a speedo or something outside.
But I think
hanging
Flight
out.
Sim deserved one or the other because so many people that don't play games like Flight Sim. People who play only hardcore games play the Flight Sim, and it's just such a weird group that play it, but it's massive.
Oh
Psychonauts
yeah,
could be great, but it's on everything else apparently.
yeah. Flight. I know just from hearing people love the flight sim games, and now that I've been flying a little bit more too, kind of like interested.
Like, what does the
Maybe
pilot see?
maybe I could. Yeah. Wow, it's exactly the same, just a different view. It's like in a car if you're in the back seat, right? It's like,
Yeah.
I wonder what it is being a driver.
Well, if you have the proper controls, you can actually quote unquote learn how to fly through these simulator controls. Like
Wild.
Some of those people's like stations they have set up are incredible. They
That's
have
gonna be
like the
me.
16 monitors to make it look like they're. It's just, what in the world is going on here?
Yeah.
Anyways, all right. So we went through. I think there's been a few questionable ones since the game community. We've been kind of questioning how it is, but we can move on. Best gaming hardware.
Oh
Another
boy.
kind of weird one. So we got PS5, Xbox Series X, Xbox Series S, NVIDIA GeForce RTX 3080, and Nintendo Switch OLED. So it's kind of weird they just threw a graphics card in there. Like,
So first off, why the 3080 over the 3090?
no, I don't know.
Second off, why is the Series S in here when the upgraded Series X is there? It's better in every way. It's like, did they actually think that the Series S would beat out the Series X?
Maybe somebody wants the why isn't PS5 digital on there?
I mean, it's the
Why?
same
Wow.
product, just one has a disc drive. But
Wow, I thought I copy pasted something wrong whenever I was making the list, but there's another one on here that I deleted.
It's a solid state drive.
Yeah, the WD Black SN850 NVMe solid state drive. What is this category?
I mean, it's hardware, so it makes sense.
Listen,
but
I know, but
I don't think we need to talk anymore. Our winner is the hard drive.
I mean, it's a solid state drive first off, and I'm pretty sure that's the solid states that are like in the PS5, like those upgraded forms.
How are you gonna have a component of another item you have on the list?
Yeah, I get that, and I don't understand how a 3080 makes it over a 3090. A 3090 is just.
Why not just say the 3000 series GeForce RT? Like, some
or just the best one of them. Like, but PS5 won. It literally just came down to be a console war of who could vote more.
It probably was. Yeah, it probably was literally just console
And
war.
then
I mean, I don't know
PC
what else
gamers
would
just
be.
look at it. They're like, why is a 3080 here?
Man, I wish
vote.
the gaming community would hijack this contest, because you'd have like Xbox controller, PS Pro, or the
DualSense controller. Which I'm voting for the DualSense controller. This thing is amazing.
Just list every single component of a tower, Samsung TVs, Asus monitors, HDMI cable, DVI.
Best mid-size PC case, best full-size PC case.
So this is definitely something they should have just not had this category. Like they were like pulling us. Like I don't know if this was something that was like live streamed and they actually did an award ceremony or not.
They did.
Okay, so this is them being like, all right, we need to fill time. How do we make this 2 hours long? Right now we're at an hour.
Was them literally looking at it and going, how do we get more hype? And they go, we fuel the console wars.
Yep. We anger everybody. That's what we do. Whatever. Let's just move on.
PS5's great. Xbox Series X is great. PC's great. Nintendo Switch is great. Play what you want.
Exactly. Play what you want. Enjoy what you like. Simple as that. That's the nice thing about games.
No, I have one more addition to this list. The UTech Smart Venus MMO gaming mouse 16400 DPI gaming mouse. That's the one that I use, and it is superior in all ways, okay?
Wrong.
I'm saying it now.
First off, I have the Razer Naga Trinity, and it's better.
How much does yours cost?
Well, I got this one for free because my last one I broke.
Fair.
So
wrong. The right one is I have the rollerball mouse that I had from 1995.
You talking about the egg yolk?
Yeah, and I have to take the ball out, and I have to get all the dusty crust on the rollers off.
I believe you, Brad, because you don't. Show me your mouse right now. Show me your mouse. Come on. Oh my god.
It has lights on it.
All right, it's got lights.
It got RGBs.
All right, next category.
All right, next category is still playing award, which we have. I think this is one of the longer lists actually. Got Apex Legends, Call of Duty Warzone, Final Fantasy 14, Destiny 2, GTA Online, Genshin Impact, Fortnite, Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Siege, Rocket League, and Counter-Strike Global Offensive. Winner was Final Fantasy 14. This game must have blown up this year or something because people were definitely playing it before. I've heard of it, but not that I haven't heard of it. It's a Final Fantasy game. But what I mean is, I remember in college, people were talking about playing it back in the day a little bit. And it's just like, this one? Really? This is the game?
Hear me out. Look at the list again. What is the oldest game on the list? Yeah, that's the one that won.
Isn't Counter-Strike CS:GO older?
You know, I think it's 2008 maybe.
If that's
CS:GO was 2012. It was 2012.
Oh wow.
All right, well then, so yeah.
But yeah, you know what I mean though? Like it's a contest of who's the oldest because it still has a community playing it. Oh, Final Fantasy 14 has got a crap load of hype this year. Cool. W.
Okay, so League of Legends came out in what, 2010?
Yep.
Not even, maybe 2009 for alpha, beta, but not official release, I guess. World of Warcraft, I'm pretty sure, came out way before then. I don't remember the exact start of Minecraft. But why aren't they on this list?
Yeah.
I mean, the League of Legends is still, what, top 3 most popular game of all time?
Yeah. Even
Minecraft's top 3, if not top 1.
I think Skyrim should have been added to this list just as a meme because, you know, what is it? The 10-year anniversary just came out and people are still buying and playing it. So you got, I mean, it
They
beats.
just released another edition.
It beats Apex Legends. It beats Warzone. It beats Destiny 2. Like
everything, but
just keep going.
Final Fantasy.
I think the one. Honestly, I'm kind of surprised that like GTA Online didn't win.
Oh my god! What about Age of Empires?
Age of Empires 2.
Yeah. Oh
they
man.
still have multiple $1,000 tournaments.
Yeah. Oh man.
Yeah, whatever. I don't know. It's these.
It's by definition a popularity contest. Right
Yeah.
Now. It really is.
It's open voting. You can go online and vote for these. So it is what it is.
Final Fantasy 14 fanboys must have went on there and they're like, push the button. Do it.
They're all in their little guilds telling everyone.
Get on NordVPN, go.
You gotta go vote if you want to be in a guild.
Yeah, it's I don't know. Whatever. Anyways, it's not a huge deal.
Yeah.
Let's move into most wanted games. I actually think this is kind of interesting.
Hold on. Before you make the list, for those of you listening, just think, what is the most wanted game right now that's coming out? Let us know in the comments below, because you're gonna be right. All right, Brad, hit us with the list.
All right, our list is God of War Ragnarok, Horizon Forbidden West, Halo Infinite, Marvel's Midnight Suns, GTA 5 Enhanced Edition. That's a big one right there.
Whoa.
GTA 5. I don't know. Skate 4, Elden Ring, Lego Star Wars The Skywalker Saga, Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild 2, Pokemon Legends Arceus, Starfield, and Gotham Knights. And the winner is drumroll. Nobody drumrolled. Elden Ring.
This list is so strong, and then there's just like random games like Marvel's Midnight Suns, GTA 5,
GTA 5
Lego
Enhanced
Star
Edition.
Wars. Lego Star Wars.
They are walking on their tiptoes right now. They're like, "Holy crap, guys! We really actually have to do this correctly, because if we don't, our reputation is going to go way down."
Here's the thing. Realistically, I'm sure there's like 5 of these games that could have won.
Yeah,
because they all have pretty big hype and stuff. Like, I'm kind of surprised Breath of the Wild 2 didn't win, just with how
Breath of the Wild 2, Pokemon Legends, Horizon Forbidden West, God of War, Halo Infinite, Skate 4, all definitely made a running. Starfield, even though did Starfield get announced exclusive, so it probably lost a lot of hype from that. If that did happen,
so, yeah.
But Elden Ring is Dark Souls fanboys.
I would even like reduce it to like Pokemon, the Pokemon game. Yes, it gets hype from the Pokemon stuff, but I feel like Pokemon doesn't get the hype just because it's Pokemon. Like people are like, oh, it's Pokemon, whatever. Even though this one is different, but to me, it's Breath of the Wild 2, Elden Ring, and probably the next ones would be like
Skate
I don't know.
4. Honestly, I think it would be Skate 4.
You think so? I know Skate 4 is definitely getting. I would say like Halo Infinite probably wouldn't be just because it's so close.
Like, it's because and the multiplayer is already out, so like what everyone cares about is already accessible.
Yeah, so I mean, is like GTA? Why is GTA 5 on here? Can we just kill this game? Seriously, can like
Todd Howard, please let Skyrim die. Rockstar, please let Grand Theft Auto 5 die.
That's exactly what it is. That's
like, let's stop remaking this and let's take those guys that you have tasked to remake this and put them towards 6. GTA 6, Elder Scrolls 6. Let's get that ball rolling, guys.
Even if it was just a couple, say they got a small team that's doing it. It's like that's extra bodies that could just be doing anything. Literally anything.
Those games came out for the 360 and PS3.
Yeah.
3 generations. We're still getting it.
It's so bad. It hurts my brain. Anyways,
if you know us, you know we want Elden Ring.
Elden Ring. Elden Ring is, to me, Elden Ring. And then probably number 2 for myself would be God of War. But
number 2 for me would be Breath of the Wild.
2. Yeah.
Well, number 2 for me would be Ragnarok. So
doesn't matter what you think.
I am kind of interested in the Pokemon game just to see like what they're going to do different.
Yeah.
But I it's not that exciting to me though. So
No.
oh well. All right, we can move into Ultimate Game of the Year.
The heavy hitter time.
Yeah, we're getting
Yes.
big here. So we've got nominees of Deathloop, Psychonauts 2, Resident Evil Village, Ratchet and Clank, Rift Apart, Wildermyth, Hitman 3, The Forgotten City, It Takes Two, Metroid Dread, and Mass Effect Legendary Edition. And the winner for Ultimate Game of the Year was Resident Evil Village. I'm happy with the win.
Yeah, I mean, I'm surprised Wildermyth made this because of the type of game it is. I'm just shocked. Mass Effect Legendary Edition. I mean, do you really count a trio of 3 games towards Game of the Year? To
On the
me, I don't.
PS3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Resident Evil Village, Psychonauts 2, Ratchet and Clank, It Takes Two are probably my 4. Deathloop probably would be in there if I was actually able to play it. But Resident Evil Village, it's the one that's accessible via everything but Switch probably.
Yep.
And it's good.
Village did not have any kind of like controversy around the game when it came out, right? Like it didn't have any problems.
That is one thing I, for the most part, will give Capcom. When they release a actual single player game, not looking at you RE3 remake. You know, if you're looking at like Resident Evil 2 remake, like it's just strictly single player RE. Even like Resident Evil 7, Resident Evil 8. They're like solid games. Like really don't have any issues that I can think of, like bugs or glitches.
They even Resident Evil 3, like it was a unfortunately complete game. Like everything was there. There wasn't real game breaking issues. Like it actually seems like they put a QA team to make sure that you didn't just fall through the map.
Yeah, exactly. So I will give them, honestly, they remind me of Nintendo in that sense. Nintendo always releases solid stuff. Like I can give them crap, but realistically, Nintendo games work day one. They don't need a patch. They will work, which is I think probably why Nintendo gets all of the love that they do. So
they've been consistent over the years. I mean, they've been robbing us blind for years, and here we are.
Yeah,
but realistically,
yeah. Go ahead.
Like Game of the Year was just so free this year. There was just so much bad and very little good.
It's pathetic. I mean, it just shows that the games this year, like we actually were talking about doing a podcast, which maybe we will at some point talk about it for one of the upcoming ones of just like what's going on with games this year. Because everything's just getting bombed with reviews. So we'll see. Who knows?
Yeah, so for me it's a really close race for Ultimate Game of the Year for Ratchet and Clank or Resident Evil Village. They're both really good games, really good stories, and I don't know. I don't know which one I would actually vote for to be the game of the year. And then if those two were tied for first, my second place would be It Takes Two. And it's kind of strange. You might think, since I talked about It Takes Two so much at the beginning of the episode, how would I not rank it as number one? Well, that story, you know, is kind of what drags it down. Like the overarching story for me is just like a little bland, but the game itself, it
makes up for story and gameplay.
Yeah, and I feel like Resident Evil Village does the gameplay, does the story. Ratchet and Clank, same exact thing. It peaks out the performance of the PS5. Village, doing the exact same thing. Like it would be a pretty hard. Like I'd have to sit down and like kind of try to quantify which game is actually the best. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, I actually really want to play Deathloop myself. So there's a chance that one could have been up there pretty high as well. So my win just goes to Resident Evil Village because I think that's the best put together game. Didn't have any issues.
And we're fanboys.
Yeah, fanboys also too.
Mm-hmm.
Then I probably would have also, my top 3 would have been Village, Deathloop, and Dread, I think, as of right now. For myself. Yeah.
I'm honestly surprised you don't put Ratchet and Clank up here.
I think the reason is I like Ratchet and Clank games, but they're not my favorite. Like, I like them a lot, don't get me wrong, but I don't know, in a weird way, I kind of like Metroid a lot. Like, I really like Super Metroid, like a lot.
Sure.
That's fair.
Really good game for me. So I think it's part of that too. Anyways, we got 3 real quick ones to go through. Critics' Choice Awards. They gave it to Deathloop. I don't even think there were nominations for this, was there?
I couldn't find nominations, so I'm not certain.
Yeah, so we're just gonna kind of rapid fire through this here. Breakthrough Award, Housemarque got this for Returnal, and I think this is pretty fair because Housemarque was making pretty small games before. Like, you're talking like $20 games roughly, and they were top-down shooters or arcade style, and then they just expanded it into this big third-person game. So I think it's pretty fair. And then the real big one, Ultimate Hardware of all time, which I don't even know what to say about this. They gave it a PC. What?
I'm just gonna.
Are you sure it's not a solid state drive?
I'm just gonna point and shrug. What do you want me to do with this?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for that.
Who did they give it to? Like, someone had to accept the award. Was it Bill Gates, or did a computer just walk up? Was it Clippy from the old Microsoft Word?
Man,
yes, it was Clippy. Oh man, but I think the biggest one that we're going to talk about out of this is the last award, which is Ultimate Game of All Time.
Why they did this is just to cause chaos.
Man.
And this basically is just their number 1 game of all time, I guess. I don't know if it's supposed to be influential or if it's just, top rated, whatever. Anyways, let's go through the list that they gave us here for nominees. We've got Dark Souls, the original Doom from 1993, Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, Half-Life 2, Minecraft, Street Fighter 2, Tetris, The Last of Us, Super Mario 64, Metal Gear Solid, which is the PS1. I don't know if they made another Metal Gear Solid just called that. Halo Combat Evolved, Super Mario Bros. 3, GTA 5, Portal, Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare, Pac-Man, Super Mario Kart, Space Invaders, Sim City from 1989, and Pokemon Go. And the winner was Dark Souls, which I think
out of this list, probably, in my opinion. But Minecraft probably is the one that should win, realistically. But if I was voting, it'd be Dark Souls.
Well, no, they add they have such a strange melting pot of games.
These, you're like, okay, and then Pokemon Go.
Like, if you're gonna add,
I just want to say this. Guys. I don't think I'd put Pokemon Go in top 100 games of all time. I just want to throw that out there.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys would.
I wouldn't put The Last of Us in this list. I wouldn't put Call of Duty 4. I wouldn't put Breath of the Wild.
If you're gonna put old games like Tetris in there, why not put the first game ever and put Pong? How does Pong not win? If you're including those, your requirements somehow for this list include old as F games. How do you not put Pong instead of Tetris?
So, my headcanon here, just making this up as I'm going here. Tetris is still widely played, and they still have Tetris 99, which is available. Nobody really plays Pong anymore.
Fair enough. But since we're making it up as we go along,
all right, this is. I think this is the one that kills me the most out of all of them. Okay, they put Super Mario Kart on here, and
it's not even the best Mario Kart.
It's probably the worst Mario Kart. It's arguably
Double
one of the
Dash.
worst ones.
Mario Kart 8 is up there, but Double Dash is
yeah,
bone
you've
apple
got 64 or Double Dash. You've got honestly even the Wii version. Not
the
bad.
DS version was good.
Yeah, DS versions there's a lot of options, and I would pick all of them over Super Mario Kart. That's just me though, but what do I know?
I want to hear I want to be a fly on the wall in the conference room when they were coming up with this list, and some guy was like, "Pokemon Go," and they're like, "What are you talking about, Carl?" And he's like, "Look, it's a revolutionary game. For a solid week, the whole world was outside walking and catching Pokemon for a week."
First of all, you got it wrong. It was Todd from Nintendo who nominated Winback. Okay? He was on that. He was it's the same guy.
Hot takes,
dude.
This guy, he's like,
straight up.
Come on, man.
If Winback had made it on this list, I that would be the last evidence I need that the guy that created Winback listens to this podcast.
No.
Yes.
So Winback being on there, and then Mort the Chicken. If Mort the Chicken next year, we need to like get our community together and make a run to get Mort the Chicken onto this list. We need to get everybody rolling.
I don't know where it's going, but it's going.
Like Pokemon Go doesn't belong here. SimCity 1989, for as good as it was, it doesn't belong here. Mario Kart doesn't belong here. Space Invaders.
Well, here's the weird thing
COD
too.
4.
So Pac-Man, obviously, it is definitely revolutionary. But the thing is, it's like well known that Mrs. Pac-Man is the go-to Pac-Man because it was faster and it was just like a more refined game. Like that was what people liked.
And it's the best game of all time. Tell me how they picked Breath of the Wild out of the Zelda series and not Ocarina of Time, the highest rated game of all time, with a 99 out of 100. Somebody explain.
I already told you this.
Breath of the Wild is a good game. Breath of the Wild is not a good Zelda game.
It is just because it is the newest game, and for whatever reason. So I don't know who, is like, if I don't know if like IGN has anything to like, if like they're gonna get like try to pull things from there also. But like, for example, I know all IGN staff and stuff, they will basically go die in a ditch for Breath of the Wild because they think it's the greatest thing that's ever graced Earth. And to me, it's just like, dude, that's what gives me the biggest thing about it. It's like, I don't get it.
I love Breath of the Wild for the game it is. I do not love it for being a Zelda game. It fits fine to be a Zelda game, like with Zelda and Link, but it's headcanon to me. It's a separate thing. But like, how Ocarina is not on here? Did they just like interview a bunch of like teens and are like, oh, we got to mix in some old games too? What old games do we know? Tetris, Pac-Man. Yeah, Pac-Man's
all right.
Old.
In defense of Pac-Man and Space Invaders, if you scale with inflation, Pac-Man and Space Invaders in that order is the most profitable game in the world.
Yeah, I'm sure. Because it took a guy about 7 minutes to code it.
and they've been reselling it ever since, yes.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that number is like combined, like all Pac-Man games or just the OG. I don't know. But
I would even say probably just the OG. The amount of quarters going into arcade machines.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So sure, but if you're gonna include the historical ones, why? Like, anyways,
they needed to just make up their mind where they were going with this.
Yeah.
I'll be honest. This entire award show seems like they just need to get their act together and figure out what they're doing here.
Also, it needs to not be just like open source voting. Like maybe a percentage of the votes, but like actual criteria.
No, I think the best way to do that is to have like open source voting on like the Twitter poll that we saw, where everybody just head to head votes. Probably group stage style voting to eliminate the weird votes where like in the second tier you're like Breath of the Wild or Dark Souls. You're like, well, heck, let's get it. Let's get those games up there a little bit, Like that's how you determine the ultimate game of all time.
Ultimate game of all time. Put every game ever released and let people start voting.
A 3-year Twitter poll that determines
every day you go another.
The best game.
I don't know. I think that what they should have done is like they should just have a panel where they come up with the games that and they also need to like lay out like what the criteria is for some of these, because obviously they're pretty confusing a little bit. And then they should just have it where this was the winner, but then this was the community winner.
Yeah.
I just have two ways.
Critically.
There it is.
Yeah.
It's just like Dark Souls, for as good of a game it is, there's no chance it's the best game of all time. Like Doom completely changed first-person shooters from back in the day. Minecraft completely changed like sandbox survival games. Tetris is Tetris. Super Mario 64 3D platformers. Halo Combat Evolved redid first-person shooters again in the modern era. Super Mario Bros. 3, like it's just like all these games are so influential, and then Dark Souls created Souls-likes.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Created its own genre, which is hefty to say the least.
Yeah, I mean it throws some weight, but how do you really think it competes with any of them?
Mm-hmm.
I don't.
It's very hard to. I would say it's hard. Everybody has their own like mentality and stuff, because like sometimes you don't think about going that far back, and then you're like, oh, well, yeah, Dark Souls is huge now. But then again,
if I'm not going that far back, about it.
Yeah, and if I'm not going that far back, I'd still probably pick Minecraft over it, because Minecraft
just so big.
It's just so massive. But like, I mean, I don't know where they should have probably thrown on also like Mortal Kombat. That was also, I mean, that's basically what got us to ESRB.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like there's just there's a bunch of stuff. There's so many games that could have been on this list that it's kind of,
and the one game that
astounding
statistically should be on the list isn't, in Ocarina.
Yeah.
And
don't worry though, Pokemon Go's on there. So you got it covered.
Yeah, I guess I should just shut up.
You should, because Pokemon Go is on there, and it should have won.
I actually think it should have been Orna.
Yes, it should have. Well, folks, speaking of shut up, that's where we're going to call the episode. Appreciate you sticking around. If you came to us directly for the information on the Joystick Awards, I hope you enjoyed our commentary, and you can comment under the YouTube video. We read and respond to all comments. Really like to see those. You can yell at us at Twitter at envision_org, and you have yourself a lovely day.